Hello everybody, I picked up this Nikon Action Touch, which is also known as the Nikon L35 AWAF recently, and I thought I'd do a quick review. Although I'm going to put the first roll of film in it today, and then I'll probably do a quick follow-up review. But I've learned enough about it to do an initial video. So it's, as I say, it's the L35 AW. The AW is for all weather, and the AF is autofocus. I was quite interested in getting an L35 AF, and there's 3 models of that. And the original AF is become quite collectible. I've got an AF2 on the way from eBay. I'm looking forward to reviewing that and taking that out and shooting some film. But I also picked up this all-weather version, and it's got the same sort of 35mm f2.8 lens, but this camera is, unlike those non-all-weather versions, this one is really built like a tank, super tough, kind of robust camera, and it works to 3 meters depth of water, or 10 feet underwater. And they tend to, I mean, it came out in 1986. These tend to be in better condition if you can get them, because they were just built to a far sort of tougher standard, because it had to be able to cope with being kind of used in underwater and in rain and snow and everything really, and in sand. So it's kind of like getting a Nikon L35 AF, but in a much harder shell. But that same great lens, so it seemed a bit of a bargain and worth picking up. And you can generally get these a bit cheaper as well than some of the more desirable kind of L35 AF models. Right, so first thing I was going to say was, well, it comes in black, obviously like this, and you get Action Touch written on it, and some of them just say L35 AF AW on. And you also get it in blue, which looks really nice. I might sort of see if I can pick up a blue one at some point. And you can also get it in orange. It's got the 35mm f2.8 lens, which is lovely and sharp from all accounts. It's 4 elements in 3 groups. It's quiet, well, it's a lot quieter than the regular L35s, which have got quite a kind of high-pitched sort of whir to them when they wind on. But because this one is weather sealed and it's got rubber gaskets, it makes it a lot quieter in use. So it can be used just as well underwater, above water, and if you're using it for sort of street photography, because of that sealing, those rubber gaskets, it makes it a lot quieter than those ones. And something I've heard about the L35, the non-AW ones, is that they are quite noisy, and people have worked out a little trick, which is when you take the shot, you keep your finger down on the shutter afterwards until you've put it back in your pocket, and then you let go, and then it'll wind on, so it makes that whir, that sort of high-pitched whir noise, in your pocket rather than when you're taking the photo. If you're not trying to sort of draw attention to yourself. Well, with this camera, you wouldn't need to bother because it's that much quieter. So I'll take a quick shot. So you turn it on like this, like that, and that's off, and then that's delayed auto timer. So I turn it on like that, and then press down the shutter, and it will autofocus. If you can hear that. Now that's because it's the first shot, so it's wound on a couple, but take another one. You see how that's pretty quiet, and certainly a lot quieter than the regular L35 AF models. What else to say? So it's got, on the front, you've got full flash control, so that's off and it will never ever fire the flash, and that's on and it will fire it on every shot, which is quite nice actually. So some people with the L35, the regular version, because that's got an auto flash, if they want to get it to flash during sunlight as a sort of fill flash, they have to kind of, sometimes I've heard some people say, we'll have to put it in your pocket when you meter, so that it thinks it needs the flash, then take it out and take the shot. Whereas with this camera, you can just stick it on that and it'll always use the flash. By the same virtue, you can turn it off and it will never fire the flash for you. And a lot of like compact kind of point and shoots, have a auto flash, and you can't control when the flash comes on and off, so it's a nice thing to have that there, and you can just turn it on and off and you've got full control. When you're using it underwater, it's kind of advisable that the autofocus won't work. So in that instance, you just use this dial and it'll say 2.3 feet, which is like 0.7 of a meter, 3.6 feet, 1.1 meter, and so on. Then you've got 12 feet, and that's 3.5 meters. So you see you've got your meters and feet there, which is quite cool because you could use that. You know, you don't have to use that underwater. You can use that for street photography, and it's almost like zone focusing, and you can just set that on the top and you can just look down and you can see exactly what you've got it set for, which if you're doing sort of zone focusing on the lens, traditionally with street photography, you might have to sort of have a quick look and see where it is, but on here you can just do it from the top dial, so that's quite a cool thing. But you just set it like that so the line goes all the way across, and then that's on autofocus. Otherwise, I'll show you battery compartment. So this is all got rubber gasket seals as well to make it all weather to 10 feet or 3 meters of water. So that comes out like that, and then it takes you sort of have to slot the first one in, get it to sort of fall into that compartment there, and then you put the second one in. But you can kind of see there. And that goes in like that. Oh, I found this a bit tricky to get the thread on, but hang on, I'll just do that now. So it can be a bit fiddly, but there we go. There we go, battery's back in. And then there's no film in here at the moment, so the way you open it is you hold down this little button here, and then it allows you to turn this. So it won't turn otherwise, but you press that down with a nail, and then you can turn it to there, and then you give it a like that, and it pops. You've got the two hooks there that keep it locked in. This is on the inside. You can see the kind of rubber gasket running around the edge here. That keeps it watertight, and then you, with a nail, pull that back, and then you pop your film in there, and then you just pull it over the tab to there, and close that over. That keeps the back of the film nice and flat, and you give it a good like that, and it clicks, pop it back into the lock, and then that's all locked up. So I mean, it's DX coded, so you can't set the ISO manually, which is something that the original L35AF did allow you to do. The L35AF 2 and 3 didn't. They were fully DX coded, the same as this, but this obviously got the advantage of being all weather as well. So it auto sets the ISO by reading it off the encoded kind of checker kind of pattern on the film that you put in. It'll read ISO from film from 50 to 1600, but you know, it's a truly amphibious kind of land water camera. It's got a shutter that, from what I've read, is 1/8 of a second up to 1/430th of a second, which is good for most things. As I say, it's got like a self timer on it as well. You can go like that, press that, and it's got the self timer. If it's too dark, a red LED will come on and flash to let you know to use the flash. And when you do use the flash, so if I put the flash on like that, you get this light here that comes on. And if you fire the flash, hang on, is it going to let me? Oh, I've left it on self timer. So here we go. So this is now blinking. There we go, and it fired the flash and advanced on the shot. Now this light will come on in a bit. There we go. So now it's ready to take another shot with the flash. So until that light comes on, the shutter's locked. So you know that. I'll turn it off. And that's about it really. I'm really looking forward to taking this camera out. I'm going to wait for a really rainy day where I wouldn't want to risk a regular kind of film SLR that didn't have weather sealing, or the lens or the body. I'm going to take this out and try and get some really nice shots of sort of wet streets and sort of nice street photography. And that's it. If you're enjoying these videos, like and share, or leave comments and I'll try and reply. Thank you very much.